Elizabeth Woodville, a queen whose life was filled with love, power, and devastating loss. Born around 1437, Elizabeth was not born into royalty, but into a noble family during one of England's most turbulent periods, the Wars of the Roses. Her first marriage was to a Lancastrian knight, Sir John Grey, but tragedy struck early. He was killed in battle, leaving Elizabeth a young widow with 2 sons. And this is where her story takes an extraordinary turn. Legend says that Elizabeth waited under an oak tree with her children, hoping to catch the attention of the Yorkist king, Edward IV. Whether this moment is myth or truth, what happened next changed history forever. Edward IV fell in love with her. Not only that, he secretly married her in 1464. This was shocking. Kings didn't marry widows, and certainly not women without powerful foreign alliances. But Edward chose Elizabeth, and just like that, she became Queen of England. However, her rise to power created enemies. The powerful Earl of Warwick, once Edward's greatest ally, felt betrayed. Political tensions grew, and Elizabeth's large family, the Woodvilles, were accused of gaining too much influence. Some of her relatives were even executed. Her life as queen was far from peaceful. Elizabeth gave birth to many children, including 2 boys who would later become central to one of history's greatest mysteries, the Princes in the Tower. After Edward IV's sudden death in 1483, everything began to fall apart. Her young son was meant to become King Edward V, but before he could be crowned, he and his younger brother were taken to the Tower of London. They were never seen again. Their uncle, Richard III, took the throne. To this day, no one knows for certain what happened to the boys. Were they murdered? And if so, who gave the order? For Elizabeth, this was the ultimate tragedy. A mother who lost her sons to one of history's darkest mysteries. But her story doesn't end there. In a surprising twist, Elizabeth formed an alliance with Margaret Beaufort, the mother of Henry Tudor. Together, they plotted to overthrow Richard III. And in 1485, their plan succeeded. Henry Tudor became King Henry VII, and he married Elizabeth's daughter, Elizabeth of York. This united the rival houses of York and Lancaster, finally bringing an end to the Wars of the Roses. Through her daughter, Elizabeth Woodville became the grandmother of a new royal dynasty, the Tudors, including Henry VIII. Despite everything she endured, loss, betrayal, and political danger, her bloodline would shape the future of England. Elizabeth spent her later years away from court, eventually retiring to Bermondsey Abbey. She died in 1492. Her life was one of the most dramatic journeys from widow to queen to a woman surrounded by mystery and loss. A woman who rose to power, lost almost everything, and still changed history forever. Question: do you think Elizabeth Woodville knew what really happened to the princes in the Tower? Or was she left in the dark like the rest of history? Follow Twisted in Time for more strange history.